Welcome on in, everyone. It's Malliem back with another weekly horror story. If you've got a story you'd like to share, feel free to post it to my subreddit link below. Today's story is called My Baby Daughter Won't Stop Laughing, and I'm warning you now, don't get attached to anybody. If you enjoy the show, consider subscribing. Thanks. Trigger warning for implied child death. It started with my husband not acting like himself. One night a few weeks ago, Milo returned from work, and our daughter had only just stopped laughing. He left me with her all day with her relentless laughing that was cute at first. There was nothing cuter than an infant's laughter. But she didn't stop. Mara was born laughing. Unlike other newborns, who were born screaming or even silent, our baby was laughing. I thought it was so adorable at first. She was my first, so motherhood was new to me. Mom always told me my maternal instinct would just kick in, and she was right. When Mara was in my arms, a warm bundle pressed against my chest, I decided I was going to protect her. But I wasn't expecting my newborn baby to be laughing. I thought it was some kind of problem at first. Maybe with her lungs. Her giggles did come out kind of throaty, like she was wheezing. I demanded tests, but Mara was completely healthy. I took her home from the hospital and expected her to stop, but she never did. She laughed when she was feeding, laughed when she was playing, even giggling to herself in the middle of the night. I admit I've done things a mother should never do. I secretly wish she would stop. I secretly wish she'd cry instead. Somehow, crying made me feel more sane. It was normal to stay up until dawn with a crying baby, but laughing? I spent countless hours trying to keep myself awake, and when I did manage to fall asleep, I was jerked back awake minutes later by little Mara's giggling. It was as if she were saying, "Don't sleep, Mommy, play with me." I didn't have the heart to tell her she was slowly killing me. My bones felt like liquid lead. My brain was mush. It was late when Milo finally came downstairs. Mara was sound asleep in my arms. I was watching a TV that wasn't on. I was watching Netflix, but I could barely register what was going on. I was furious. He left me. Again. After promising to look after Mara while I took the afternoon off. I texted him, but of course he turned off his phone. Of course my texts weren't being delivered. Hey. My voice carried more bite than I intended when I caught him sneaking toward the refrigerator, no doubt planning to eat the leftovers from dinner. He froze in my peripheral vision, pulling open the door. Milo was hesitant in answering. He hated confrontation. Hey. He stumbled over his words. Babe? He said babe like a question. Where were you? I asked calmly. I could feel myself splintering, my eyes watering. I told myself I wouldn't cry. Milo drifted off into a sigh. He pulled out a soda and leftover chicken and rice from dinner. I watched him crack open the can, take a long sip, picking at chunks of chicken. I resisted the urge to snap at him to get a damn plate. He was eating like an animal. Milo offered me a small smile, and in the fluorescent light I glimpsed dark shadows under his eyes. It's complicated. Complicated. I almost laughed. You could have helped me, I whispered, careful not to wake little Mara. She mumbled in her sleep, her head tucked into my chest. With putting our daughter to bed. He chuckled, a sour edge to his tone. Yeah, I'm good, dude. Dude? Since when did my husband say, dude? You promised. I spoke through my teeth this time, unable to stop myself. You said you would let me sleep and take care of everything. I had to swallow sobs, my chest heaving. When I woke up, she was laughing, Milo, and you were nowhere to be seen. You were gone. Again. I twisted to find him standing over the sink, his back to me. My husband was eerily still. He held a cup as if to fill it. But he wasn't filling it. He was just fucking standing there, letting water pool off of it. The stream was running, quickly overflowing, and he wasn't turning it off. Milo! My voice cracked despite myself. There's something wrong with you. You're not helping Mara. You leave everything to me. Her diapers, her bedtime, everything you promised the day I told you I was pregnant. You promised you'd be there for her. Milo, you called her the best thing that ever happened to you. And now you can't even look at her. He didn't move. Didn't deny it. His arms tensed, fingers curling into fists. The faucet began to overflow, suds soaking the floor. I couldn't hold back a sob. Everything spilled out, words tumbling over one another, staining my tongue, dripping down my chin. You're disappearing at night, and you're not even sleeping with me anymore. Milo, you won't even look me in the eyes. I swallowed another sob, choking on the question before it could reveal itself. A snake's head protruding through my lips. Are you seeing someone? He stayed silent for a long moment, and in that moment, I realized, my chest aching, that I was losing him. Then he turned. His eyes were hollow, and a wide, fake smile stretched across his face. Darling, he said, his tone sardonic and splintered, like he didn't mean that word. Like he never meant it. Like it was all a game to him. Milo used to say darling like he meant it. Like he loved me. It was never an attempt to win me back or get his way. He said darling when he was tracing my torso in bed or making me morning coffee when I was sleep-deprived. The imposter wearing my husband's face leaned against the sink, arms folded, one eyebrow cocked. To my surprise, he smiled, but it wasn't the smile I fell in love with. I had no idea who the fuck I married, but it wasn't Milo St. Clair. Would you like to play 7 Minutes in Heaven? Scooping up our baby, I stumbled to my feet. You're kidding, I said, nursing Mara against my chest. I wanted to shout at him. Fuck, I wanted to scream at him. He'd been body snatched, clearly. Milo St. Clair wasn't this bumbling fucking idiot who couldn't even change a diaper. Our marriage is falling apart. I gritted through a hysterical laugh. Maybe I was losing my mind. Laughing felt better. It felt like lukewarm water trickling across my bare skin. I'm actually starting to ask myself why I married you in the first place. My chest was heaving, my throat bitter with every word. Why was I so stupid? You disappear every day and refuse to look after our daughter. And then you finally come home and want to play a kid's game? I marched over to the sink and shut off a tap. A game we played 15 years ago, I snapped. Then I turned to him, my heart aching. I asked you a simple question, and you're stalling. Are you sleeping with someone? He rolled his eyes. I've never... His cheeks bloomed red. I've never slept with anyone. I'm your wife! I shrieked. What are you talking about? You have a daughter! I fought back a scream. When I got an eye roll in response, I couldn't hold myself back. Is it fucking Annabelle? He frowned. Who? Annabelle Tate, I hissed. I know she watches you through the hole in her fence when you're cleaning your car. I filled Mara's bottle, my hand shaking. I dropped the lid twice before screwing it on. So what, am I not good enough for you? I sputtered. Your wife? You gave Annabelle Tate a good peep show when you hosed down your car, but you can't even sleep in the same bed as me? Milo's eyes darkened, his lips curling. He folded his arms. Then why did you marry me? He asked bluntly. His question landed like a gunshot, right between my ribs, ripping through my heart. What? Why did you marry me? He repeated. Come on, tell me why you married me, Kana. I'm not doing this. I moved for the door, but he blocked my way. Milo came close, so close, backing me against the sodden countertop. His lips brushed mine before his breath warmed my ear. Pretend to kiss me, he hissed against my lips, his eyes somehow elsewhere, flicking back and forth, almost like he was searching for something. Milo's head tipped back, his eyes glued to every corner of the ceiling. Milo had been so distant, so invisible in my life. I forgot what he felt like, tasted like. This was my husband, a man I knew like the back of my hand. And yet how did I fail to know that his lips tasted like sour lemon candies and stale coffee? How did I forget where I buried my head in the crook of his shoulder? Just keep kissing me, all the way to the bedroom. You don't need to actually kiss me. Just play along. His voice was a parasite bleeding into my skull. How? I hissed, but obeyed, smushing my lips against his chin. Is this some kind of role-playing game? Milo scrunched up his face. What? No. Just play along. His eyes found mine. Brown and warm, endless coffee grounds with golden flecks bleeding around the rim. Trust me, okay? He exhaled in my face, pulling me into a clumsy embrace. Please, he said loudly this time, as if speaking to someone I couldn't see. I noticed he was gently guiding me toward our bedroom, his steps smooth, as if we were performing a waltz. I stumbled and he quickly helped me up. Just one game of 7 minutes in heaven, he whispered. Exactly like we used to play in school. We asked 3 questions each, 3 answers. No strings attached. I found myself being drawn closer to him, my breath stuck in my throat. What about Mara? His smile took me off guard. Devilish. Leave it. I did. I left our daughter sleeping on the couch and gave in to desire. Reaching our bedroom and stumbling over the threshold, we paused in front of the bed, frozen and breathless, staring at each other as if we didn't know what to do. Then it hit like ice water. We didn't know what we were doing. I tried. I kissed him and he kissed back, but it felt suffocating and wrong, like I had never kissed him before, like I was kissing a fleshy mound of pink ick. When he moved closer, his warmth felt unfamiliar. I didn't recognize it. The way he touched me was immature, immediately trying to cradle my hips, his fingers ticklish. What? Milo looked self-conscious, adjusting his hands when I burst into a hysterical giggle, shoving him off of me. Wait, am I doing it wrong? I had no idea how to answer because the truth was, I didn't know what I was doing either. I had squeezed out a baby after trying for months, and somehow, my arms around him felt like limp noodles. When I tried to undo his collar, I accidentally smacked him in the face. He looked offended for a moment, one hand cradling his nose, His usually stoic facade splintered, before he let out an explosive laugh. I laughed too, caught between hysterical gasps and trying to stop his nosebleed. Suddenly, everything seemed so stupid. The fight, Mara, even being intimate. Instead of us doing anything, Milo just held me awkwardly while my cheeks erupted. It was as if my body didn't know or understand what to do, even though we had already conceived a child. We had already had sex. I remembered him pulling me upstairs, both of us laughing, tipsy from wine, carrying me into our bedroom, and dropping me onto the bed, his lips kissing all the way down my neck, trailing down my torso. So, what happened to him? Why did he seem so foreign, so alien? Like he wasn't even my husband. More importantly, what happened to me? Eventually, Milo pulled away, eyes half-lidded. Glassy. I couldn't help but notice his hand stuck to my waist, as if he was playing a role. Acting. "Wait," he whispered, pressing his index finger to his lips. He pulled me closer, his breath tickling my face. "I think there's someone outside." "What?" I squeaked, immediately shoving him away. I was still fully dressed, but I felt exposed, even behind closed doors. Milo didn't speak, took my hand, and dragged me to the window. Before he could pull back the curtains, a voice startled us both and I fell back, almost tripping over my feet. "I've got a cheese and tomato pizza for Mrs. Conna St. Clair," a male voice shouted from outside. "Anyone there?" I turned to Milo, my heart pounding. I told him I was cooking dinner. Milo even had the leftovers. So, why? I shook my head, swallowing questions smothering my tongue. "Did you order pizza?" Milo's lips curled, his gaze flicking upward, expression faltering. He squeezed his eyes shut and exhaled. His grip on my shoulders tightened. "Yes," he said softly, breaking out into an explosive grin. His eyes flew open. "Yes, of course I did. I ordered you pizza as an apology." I noticed the twitch in his eye, the furrow between his brows. He was acting again. Before I could question his sudden behavior, he leaned in close, his breath tickling my ear. "Better go get your pizza, honey," he hummed, his tone unmistakably icy. "Before it gets cold." I opened my mouth to respond, but our daughter's delightful giggling cut me off. Milo rolled his eyes. His expression darkened, and his eyes suddenly looked far too hollow. I was in denial at this point. What glittered in my husband's eyes was resentment. Hatred. He despised our daughter and wasn't even trying to hide it. He shoved past me, not before hissing in my ear. "If you don't shut that thing up, I will." I caught his shoulder before he could stalk off. "You mean your daughter," I said. "I'm exhausted. You take her to bed." He jerked around, wide eyes and twisted lips. He was crying. I could feel him shuddering, his entire body trembling under my touch. "Don't make me do it," Milo whispered, pleading. "Please." We didn't speak again that night. Milo disappeared when I put Mara to bed. I ate cold pizza in silence and went to bed pretending not to hear my husband resigned to the couch downstairs. It was difficult to come to terms with a lot of things. The first one was that my husband wasn't my husband anymore. Milo had always been a great dad. Now it was like living with a body snatcher. Ever since that night when I got the slightest reaction from him, maybe even the start of an explanation, he had completely shut down. Milo used to care about our child. Now he went to work and came home and ate dinner with dead eyes and a weird, forced smile, like he wasn't given a choice to become a father. Like this isn't what he wanted. Like I fucking forced him to refill bottles, the bare minimum. Or take turns with me at night to settle her laughing. Milo had made it very fucking clear. He hated being a father. I gave him the choice. 15 months ago, I knelt in front of him with a twisting stomach and vomit crawling up my throat and said, "I'm pregnant." A pregnancy test clutched in his fist and tears glistening in his eyes. Milo burst into tears and promised me it was exactly what he wanted. A mini version of the two of us running around. Our own child. The thing about men is that they will fucking lie. They think they know what they want, but do they? Do they really want to lose their sleep schedule? Do they really want to be sleep deprived? Do they really want a child? Or just a pet? It had taken me a while being in denial, but I realized I was right. Milo didn't want a daughter. He didn't even want to be a father. When I invited Franz over for lunch a few days later, I expected him to hide away like usual. But Milo was surprisingly present. While I caught up with our friends, my husband sat on the arm of our couch with one leg crossed over the other. I had friends over every week, and usually Milo either joined in or went MIA while we reminisced and got too drunk on fruity wine. Karina and Simon were old school friends, both with their own little one, Holden, who was almost 6 months old. He and Mara played in the lounge while we had our grown-up time. Milo was drinking beer, I noticed, which wasn't good. He wasn't usually a drinker, so when he appeared with a can of beer, I braced myself for more stupid behavior. He didn't disappoint. Sitting like a detective interrogating a perp, Milo stared down our friends. "Karina, it's nice to see you." Milo spoke up out of nowhere while we were on the topic of baby clothes. He nodded at Simon, his eyes narrowed. "Simon," speaking with his lips to his beer can, a weird smirk on his lips. I had a feeling he was going to be weird again. I shot him a warning look, which he, of course, ignored. Milo grinned, downing his beer. I caught Simon's side-eye. He was embarrassing us. "This is a completely normal and not at all weird question, but how exactly did you meet Karina?" The two of them looked confused, but Karina was happy to answer. Optimistic as usual, wearing a sunshine smile with silky dark hair pulled into a ponytail. Karina Crawford was my best friend. Karina saluted my husband with her glass and a light laugh. "I'm pretty sure you know this, babes." She winked at Milo. "Simon and I met during college. I was studying astrophysics and he was writing a book." She shot her husband a grin. "I was stubborn at first. Simon was the complete opposite of me. I mean, I was like a total control freak. I was a model student. I had my college life perfectly planned out, and a boy was never part of the plan. And I was planning on dropping out to write," Simon finished for her. "Luckily, our paths crossed. She was looking for a specific class, and I just happened to be writing on the steps." "It was love at first sight," Karina sighed. She sipped her glass. "Just like a fairy tale. It was like fate. I saw him, and I realized my perfectly meticulous plan had gone completely out the window." She settled Simon with hard eyes that I was envious of, and I caught Milo subtly pretending to gag. "For a guy I barely even knew, I was seriously going to take a chance on a stranger, and it's like..." Karina trailed off suddenly, her expression faltering, like she was going to say something. Instead of speaking, she went silent, her gaze wavering behind my husband. Milo leaned forward, his eyes wide. "It's like..." Karina blinked. She giggled, waving her glass. "Sorry, Karina shook her head, pushing waves of dark curls from her face. "I apologize. I think I've had too much wine." "No, you were talking about your college days," Milo pushed, still perched on the edge of the chair arm. "Tell us more." He leaned back, his arms folded. "You're married, Congratulations. His smile was as fake as his attitude. So, when were you married? What date did you guys tie the knot? Milo. I managed through my teeth. I sent him another warning look, and he just shot me the thumbs up. No, I like this game. Karina straightened up, balancing her glass between her knees. It was April 2nd, 2016. She smiled brightly at me. In a gorgeous ceremony in Japan. We were married under the cherry blossom trees in Kyoto and had our honeymoon climbing Mount Fuji, and, I smiled, reaching out to grasp her hand. That's beautiful, Karina. I shot Milo a glare. Isn't it, babe? Milo shrugged. She's not finished. Honey. Simon laughed nervously, but I detected a hint of confusion in his tone. We were married in Bali. He spoke confidently. Remember? We swam with the dolphins in crystal blue water, and you got food poisoning from bad shellfish. The wedding was outside on this beach with perfect white sand, and you kept complaining about the grains in your shoes. Karina's expression twisted for a moment, like she was going to protest, before her lips broke out into a grin. Oh, yeah, she laughed. Yes, it was Bali, not Japan. Oh my gosh, I'm so drunk, I can't even remember when I was married. She grinned at me. Aren't I the funniest drunk? Milo laughed along with her. Hilarious, he said, and continued to push. I gave in to temptation and threw one of Mara's socks at his face, but he was barely fazed. Milo kept going. Okay, so Karina, since you're so fucking hilarious, what about your little bundle of joy? Milo said, his tone darkening. When was he born, Little Holden. You know, your son. Milo, stop, I told him. I stood up, plonking my glass down on the coffee table. That's enough. Why? I'm just asking them basic questions that literally every couple should know. He turned to our friends. Go on. If you're so in love, you should know when your baby was born. March 8th, Karina said, at the same time as Simon piped up with, June 3rd. The two of them looked momentarily horrified before Karina burst into tears. Milo's lips pricked into a smirk. How about the first time you had sex? I bet that was a memorable night. That's highly inappropriate, I started to say. On her parents' sofa, Simon said. It was at a hotel, Karina shot back. Milo didn't even have to continue. Karina stood up, her legs wobbling, tears streaming down her cheeks. What was the name of the song we danced to at our wedding? She demanded. Simon smiled. Easy, The Power of Love. Karina stalked over to him in 3 unsteady steps, slapping him across the face. You asshole! It was Kate Bush, my mom's favorite song. Milo nodded, enjoying the chaos. So, in conclusion, you two can't remember your wedding day or the day your child was born. He mockingly shrugged. I don't know about you guys, he said, his tone dripping with sarcasm. But I'd say that's a pretty healthy relationship. My friends ignored him, deep in their own marital problems. You don't even know the day your own son was born? Karina squeaked at a paling Simon. Are you fucking kidding me? Simon opened his mouth. Karina, wait! She left before he could finish, pulling Holden from the playpen in the living room and slamming the door behind her. After sitting in silence for a long, awkward minute, Simon dove to his feet, following her. When our friends were gone, I was speechless. I scooped a still giggling Mara from her playpen and cleared up empty glasses. Milo didn't move or speak, just sitting there still perched on the chair arm. Almost triumphant. What is wrong with you? I finally exploded on him, nursing Mara against my chest. Did you think that was some joke? What was it, mind games? On our friends? What can I even say, Milo? Mental health? Should I say my husband has been fucking stolen away and body snatched? I choked back a laugh when he didn't respond, mumbling something under his breath. What? I spun around. What do you want to say, Milo? Say it to my face. We're married, remember? I choked back a sob I knew was coming. Or did you forget that? Milo's head snapped up, lips curling. I said, do you want to play? He strode over until we were inches apart, nose to nose. I couldn't breathe suddenly, terrified of his next words. Was this it? Was he going to end it? Was he finally going to come clean about his clear affair with Annabelle Tate? Milo wasn't smiling. He folded his arms. There was something about the way he looked at me, not like a lover or a husband. Cruel, calculating. Like I was a problem he was trying to solve. Was he always like this? How did I never see this? The furrow between his eyebrows and the squint in his eyes signified he needed glasses. 4 words. 4 words that sent me spiraling, my legs wobbling underneath me. Milo's lips moved, and at first his words didn't register. Like white noise. Where were we married, Kana? I blinked. What? Our marriage, he said coldly. Where were we married? Easy. I knew it. New York. City landscapes, towering golden chandeliers, and a church sitting under a perfect sunny blue sky. No. I shook my head. No, it was Iceland. We stayed in an ice hotel and watched the Aurora Borealis. I married Milo in a dress made out of fake animal fur. No. New Zealand. We got married on a beach. Yes, that was it. I could visualize it. Perfect, clear water under a dark sky where we can see Mara. I swallowed a frustrated screech when somehow each location slipped my mind, like sand falling through my fingers. He was playing mind games that I was immediately falling for. I'll ask you a question, I said, a shiver running down my spine, our marriage running through my head. I believed I knew everything about it. I had scrapbooked the entire experience. I knew the location, what kind of dress I wore, and my tearful speech. But trying to pull all of these memories to the forefront of my mind was agonizing. But I knew they were there, but I couldn't reach them. My mind felt empty, cavernous. Wrong. So fucking wrong. Like it wasn't even mine. Like I was a stranger. All those memories I thought I had fallen in love with, I thought they would stay with me forever. Gone. The words tangled on my tongue and were lost, but I couldn't admit that. I couldn't let Milo know he'd won. I want to know something. Milo raised a brow. Shoot. What happened to you? I whispered. What happened to my husband? Milo smiled, but it was tragic, painful, like he was finally letting go, which squeezed my heart. He stayed silent for a moment, shut his eyes tight, a tear slowly rolling down his cheek. New York, Milo whispered, his sobs splintering into a giggle. He reached forward, tucking a strand of my hair behind my ear, and somehow I found myself leaning into his touch. I thought it was New York too. His hand slipped as if he was gathering himself. For the longest time, I had this image of you, he said. You were wearing this beautiful white dress, Kana, and it was supposed to be the happiest day of my life, the day I married you. He broke down suddenly, swiping at raw eyes. When our daughter was born, I could see you so clearly. You were exhausted, red-faced, and demanding that I get you some soda. Mara was this tiny bundle in your arms that you wouldn't let me hold until I washed my hands. He laughed and I did too, tears filling my eyes. The images flitted through my mind, Everything he was describing, I saw it. I had this perfect picture in my head of our wedding, our daughter's birth, and moving into this house. Milo's smile faded. He stepped away from me, arms wrapped around himself. Then I woke up, he whispered. And I realized I didn't want any of it. His laugh was explosive. I'm too young to be a father, dude. I'm too young to be a husband. And if I'm totally honest, I can't stand that thing's laughing. It's driving me insane. Something hot scalded in my throat, burning under my tongue. That's your daughter, I said stiffly. I tried to be patient, tried to see his side. This man was seriously dropping to his knees and telling me he didn't want to be a fucking adult. You're 39, Milo, I gritted out. We've been married for almost 10 years. His expression twisted, lips twitching into a smile. All right, fine, Kana, he growled. Milo gripped my hands, his clammy fingers stabbing into my skin. Where were we married? A vicious myriad of colors bled across my mind. New York, Iceland, New Zealand. I shook it away. What's that got to do with anything? I hissed. You're regretting marrying me and want to go back to being single and what? You have this fantasy of living alone in a one-bedroom apartment? I shoved him, hard. You're a married man with a baby girl. Get a grip. His eyes darkened. If you want me to show you, I will, he murmured. I'm not scared anymore. I laughed. Show me what? Scared of what? Your inability to handle simple responsibilities? That's not what Mara's sudden loud giggling cut into our argument, the lights flickering. I stepped back, taking a deep breath. Mara's awake. I rushed to grab her blanket and bottle. Do not go anywhere, I told him. Stay there, don't move. I'm going to settle our daughter, and then we're going to talk. But we didn't talk. We never fucking talked. We always avoided it. I fed Mara her bottle, and when she was asleep, headed back downstairs. Milo was curled up on the couch watching TV. I grabbed some juice for myself and leaned against the kitchen countertop. What are you watching? I asked. Minecraft movie, he mumbled, his face smushed into a pillow. You're not serious, I said, downing my glass. The juice was weirdly lukewarm. I downloaded that for Mara. Milo didn't turn around, burying his head in the chair arm. It was good. You just don't understand Minecraft lore. Fascinating, I said, and the lights flickered again. I'm going to bed. Milo didn't respond. In the middle of the night, we were once again startled awake by our daughter's relentless laughter. The more I tried to bury my head in my pillows, the louder it became. Mara was restless. I checked the bedside clock. 4 a.m. Milo rolled over in bed. I noticed he'd left a gap between us, wedging a pillow between him and me. Ouch. You sort it, he grumbled, burrowing under the blankets. I'm not going near that thing. My husband's words rolled off of me as I jumped out of bed and forced a grin. I had to be happy mommy. Even when I felt like collapsing, when I stumbled, unsteady and dizzy, I couldn't let my daughter see sad mommy. Wandering into our daughter's room, I scooped up little Mara and rested her against my chest. She laughed louder, piercing my ears. I had to bite back a shriek. You know, I hummed, rocking her in my arms. Her big blue eyes stared at me, lips breaking into a big, cheesy grin. Your laughing is so cute, I cooed. But you're keeping your mommy and daddy awake all night. Kana! Milo shouted from our bedroom. "Just fucking leave it!" When I climbed back into bed after spending an hour nursing our daughter to sleep, I swore I could hear my husband's muffled sobs. The next morning, Milo was standing in front of the coffee machine in his robe, staring at the wall. He didn't drink the coffee. He dumped it down the sink, then refilled another cup. Mara was giggling while I was trying to feed her breakfast. I had custard pudding all over my jeans. Mara really didn't want any, shaking her head and insisting on sticking her fingers in the goop. I tried the airplane method. Say, "Ah." I waved the spoon in front of her, but Mara just laughed. Behind me, Milo dropped his cup into the sink with a loud clatter. Milo surprised me by letting out a sudden hysterical laugh. He refilled another cup. "I can't take this anymore." Meaning? I didn't look away from our daughter, shoveling yellow goop into her giggling smile. He lurched forward, snatching Mara from my arms. My hands felt empty suddenly, words tangling on my tongue. "No. I'm sick of this thing," he spat, dangling Mara upside down. "I'm so tired of it." I froze, my lips parted in a scream as my husband ripped our daughter's head from her torso, and I screamed as blood ran thick down his arms and pooled on the floor. Milo didn't stop. He ripped off her legs, then her arms. I watched him, unable to move, unable to scream, my jaw arcing, my stomach lurching. "I can't take it anymore," Milo cried, and I dropped to my knees, cradling little Mara's torso. Milo followed me, his eyes red raw. "Listen to me," he whispered. When I screamed at him, babbling as vomit filled my throat, he yanked me down with him. "Fucking listen to me!" I refused to listen. I couldn't. Mara's blood stained me like paint, ingrained into every part of me. He killed our daughter. He murdered our child. It's not real. He dangled white stuffing in front of me, and for the first time, color bled across my vision. I blinked rapidly. Milo grabbed my face, jerking me to face him. "Kana, look at me. I know you're in there. It's not real. I'm not your husband. We are not fucking married. We're 19 years old. The stupid doll was laughing because the batteries need changing." I followed his gaze, my arms dropping limply to my sides. White stuffing. I stared down at what was in my lap. A doll. A doll with its arms and legs torn off, a doll wearing a wide, laughing grin smeared with custard pudding. There was no blood. For the first time, I looked at him. Really looked at him. Messy brown curls, freckles, and definitely not a 39-year-old man. I stared down at myself. And I wasn't a 40-year-old woman. Milo covered my mouth when a cry escaped my throat. "I'm Milo Reyes," he hissed. "I sat behind you in English for 3 years. I've spoken to you maybe once because you lent me a pencil." He pulled me to my feet, dragging me toward the door. "None of this is real," he whispered, choking on a sob. "Outside, there's a government compound. It's like a huge metal bunker made to look like a suburban neighborhood, and we're stuck here," he hissed. "You, me, Simon, and Karina." He looked away. "Your boyfriend too, Kana. Our whole damn class." He grabbed my shoulders, shaking me. I barely felt it. My brain was dancing. I was still staring at my daughter. "Do you remember the birth crisis?" he whispered. "Billions of babies across the country were dying. It was on the news and they said they had a solution." "Mr. St. Clair," a voice crackled from above. Milo's head snapped up, his eyes widening. "Fuck!" The voice was familiar somehow. I knew it. "Milo St. Clair, please exit Forever Home 15 and pick up your new child to restart the simulation. Failure to comply with a family first law will result in you and your wife being executed. Milo turned to me, his eyes frenzied. Stay here, okay? I stumbled to my feet, falling over myself. Somehow my mouth opened. No, it's okay, wife. I'm the one who disobeyed them. Milo pulled me into a hug. I'll go get my punishment. His lips from my ear, his breath dancing across my neck. I'm getting the fuck out of here. I'll come back for you when I find a way out, all right? He pulled me closer. I'll get all of you out. Mr. St. Clair, we can hear you. The voice crackled again. Please exit Forever Home 15 and pick up a new child to restart the simulation. Failure to comply with the family first law will result in you and your wife's execution. I repeat, please exit Forever Home 15 and pick up a new... I've got it, he snapped, pulling away from me. I followed my husband to the front door. When he left, slamming it behind him, I tried to open it myself. To my surprise, I stumbled right out into a sunny morning, onto our perfectly manicured lawn. I dropped to my knees and plucked a single blade, rolling it around my palm. Fake. I plucked a whole bunch. Plastic. Plastic fucking grass. Connor St. Clair. The female voice came through loud and clear when I was crawling through the yard digging up fake dirt. Please return to your forever home and await your husband and child. I found my voice tinged with vomit. What if I don't? I asked the sky. What if I refuse? There was no response for a moment. Then you and your husband will be executed. I stepped back inside our house and did what I always did. I made coffee. One for me and one for Milo. I cooked dinner, spaghetti and meatballs. Our silverware was plastic, I noted, as I dug into my spaghetti. Our glasses and plates were all plastic. So, who are you? I asked the ceiling, cutting into my spaghetti. My stomach twisted. I was already cutting it up for my daughter, who wasn't real. Why can I recognize your voice? No response. I picked up my plastic knife and stabbed it into my wrist. What would you do if I sliced open my arms? That's not possible with a plastic knife, Kana. The voice mused. I laughed. And then I slammed my head against the table until I was bleeding, until my head ached, but at least I wasn't thinking about Mara. The front door opened and then shut, and reality slammed into me at the sound of a baby's wails. Honey! Milo's voice swam from the hallway in a sing-song. I dived to my feet. I'm home! Milo. I ran, stumbling over myself, slamming straight into my husband standing on the threshold. Another grotesque plastic doll was nestled in his arms, but his eyes were distant, empty. He held the doll close to his chest, smiling broadly. Milo looked up at me and whispered, Isn't she beautiful? Behind him, a tiny red light on the door blinked at me. Milo laughed, gently booping the doll in the nose and rocking her against his chest. She's our little Mara. He smiled up at me, and I could see blood vessels burst in his eyes, burn marks on his left temple. She has your eyes, Kana. He gently prodded the doll's plastic cheek. Look! Kana St. Clair. The voice spoke up when Milo carried the doll into the kitchen for feeding time. I watched him robotically fill up the bottle, settling Mara into her chair. I felt dizzy as I walked over to him and tried to shake him, but his eyes were glassy, unseeing. It wasn't my Milo. You have a choice, the voice said. You can either comply with the rules and restart the simulation from the beginning, or you and your husband will be executed immediately. Milo began to sing softly, rocking the doll in his arms. Hush, little baby, don't you cry. Daddy's here to sing you a lullaby. If the moonlight fades away, I'll bring you sunshine for your day. No, I whispered, choking on a sob. Pain struck like a lightning bolt in the back of my head. The door burst open, and men with guns surrounded us. Milo didn't move when a gun was stuck into the back of his head. I blinked back tears and squeezed my eyes shut. No, we won't. Cruel metal found the back of my skull, and I dropped to my knees. Very well, the voice said. If your toy should break or fall, I'll make a new one and all. Close your eyes and drift to sleep. A gunshot slammed into me, the sound of my husband hitting the ground. And with my final, withering breath, I sang our lullaby to our daughter. Dream of wonder, you will keep